I'm back. I'm Rashmi from Desi Girl magazine. All of you are welcome. Today, we are back with Saudamini, and she is a mandala artist, and so this will be very exciting, talk. So I'm just gonna invite her. So come into the spiritual journey of mandala. So welcome.
Hi,
Hi, Rashmi.
hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you.
So
That
good
was
to
a
finally
good.
chat with you.
Yeah, finally. So great. So, it's so great this is the first time I'm talking to a artist, and I've seen your work. They are so, I must say that they are so beautiful. Even I have started doing artwork, but when I see yours, it's like so mesmerizing.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
just
so
love it.
much. Thank
I
you. And
just
I'm
love
glad
it.
that you started doing it too, especially right now.
Yeah, I'm
It's
very
really
amazed.
comforting.
Yeah, very in a very beginner level. So, I was really very personally very much interested.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
okay, so starting with it, it's just a very general question, like please introduce yourself, tell
Tell
something
something
about
about.
you to our viewers.
Well, hello everybody. I am Saudamini Madra. I am a mandala artist and I am based in Los Angeles. And here I am in conversation with Rashmi at Desi Girl magazine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. So, the question is, when you started off thinking art, why art? There are so many fields. Like, why? What was there when you started with art?
So actually, it wasn't like a conscious decision or anything like that to start, getting involved in art. It's just
Mm,
something that I've always done since I was very young. I've always been more artistic and, leaned towards it. And my parents, always supported that. So all throughout my school life, I have,
mhm.
I guess it's been my hobby, the favorite hobby. And then I went on to college to study fine arts. That's where
Oh.
it really started, like opened my world
Mhm,
to different art forms.
mhm,
Before that, it was mostly just, pencils or
mhm.
crayons or, basic tools, watercolors that every hobbyist has at home.
Yes,
So, but
yes.
after once I was in college and I started studying it, that's when I really discovered different mediums and started learning about technicalities and perspective and things like that, and that really opened my world. So, but I did not go on to have a career in art. Actually, I went to fashion school after that, and I had a
Oh,
corporate career in fashion and apparel for about 16 years. And only in 2020, I guess, I started pursuing art full time. So it's always been a part of my life. Like, I can't imagine a time where art was not a part of my life.
that's
Yeah,
very true. And especially during this time, it's so it gives you kind of at least I felt that way, that it gives you something inner. You are kind of introspecting yourself inside. So it
absolutely.
is it's a meditation. It's absolutely
100%. 100% agreed.
yes. Yeah. So, what was the inspiration behind it? What inspired you since when you as you told that you started working, I mean, started art at a very early age.
Mhm.
So, what was the inspiration behind? How did it started?
Like I said, I don't even know when it started or how it started, but as I started growing older, that's when I started to understand the meaning of inspiration, or that when I'm looking at something, what is truly inspiring me. But then there's never really been a single source of inspiration for me. It's been different people, different sources, and just different elements at different points of time when I've done different art forms. So, but I will say that my parents, excuse me, have always been behind me. They've always, motivated me and kept me going. Like, my parents' house right now is full of artworks by me. I don't think that anything that's on their walls or, any other surfaces, that is not my artwork that I've created over the last 21 years. So, for me that's inspiring to see. And like my mom is my biggest cheerleader, so it's awesome. Like literally,
Yes,
even if I create something that I'm not happy with, if I send it to her, 100% she is in love with it. There's
I
just no doubt
know.
about it. So that just, like that, honestly, that inspires me, keeps me going.
Yes. Parents are such a support, I mean, yeah,
Absolutely.
whenever I've interviewed so many wonderful ladies, the same thing they have said, that they had wonderful, parents who have supported them.
It's
I
so
agree
important.
completely.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, so you said that you went to a finishing school. Like when did you started? I mean, how did you went somewhere? We can just tell a little bit about it. I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
So, I did my graduation, or undergrad in fine arts in India, and then I
uh,
went to NIFT, and that's where I studied
uh,
fashion and design and everything. So that, which is why, hence my career in fashion for
mhm.
16 long years.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, there was the art element, but then it translated quite nicely when I was doing when I was studying design, and that sort of helped
Mhm.
open my eyes to a different
Mhm.
in a different way, because I had never really studied fashion. I was never
Right.
really interested in fashion, but I do enjoy the elements of it, but the behind the scenes element of it, not the, because I never wanted to be a fashion designer, but I was definitely interested in behind the technology in
Mhm.
apparel, and the designing part of it. So that's my connection, between the bridge between the two. And then, like I said, 2020 changed things, and no more apparel for now. I still kind of, you know, do a delicate dance between whether I want to stay a full-time artist, or I want to go back to something that I can do with my eyes closed. So
Of
that is,
course.
I guess that's a struggle.
Yeah, no, that's so wonderful. And I mean, when I look at your art, I just I was going through your artwork, your website. It's wonderful. I like to congratulate you,
Thank
and
you.
it's
That's very
so
kind.
beautiful. So why mandala? I mean, you have a specific style. What I saw.
Hmm.
I mean, it's mandala. It's more, it has it speaks like it's something for you. So it's beautiful. So why you chose that? Why that style?
So mandalas actually happened to me totally by accident. My
Mhm.
favorite art form, like, had, once I started exploring different mediums and colors and everything, different styles, and when I was studying fine arts,
Mhm.
um, I had, like, that's when I started developing an affinity for black and white. Then, fast forward to, I think, around 2017. That's
Mhm.
when I was in my corporate job, bored one day, scrolling through, social media. I don't even remember if it was Instagram or Facebook at that time, or somebody sent me something. But
Mhm.
again, like the cycle of scrolling,
Okay.
I chanced upon some mandalas, and
Mhm.
I had seen them before, but I had never really
Mhm.
noticed them or connected with them. But something changed that day, and I
Mhm.
was drawn to them, and I felt like I just had to try it. So, found myself a
Mhm.
piece of a paper, a pencil, and a pen, and I had a go
Mhm.
at it. I had no idea at the time that,
Mhm.
there is a concept of creating a grid, or
Mhm.
using, like any tools like a compass or a protractor or anything like that.
Right.
So just sitting right there at my desk, I started doodling, and that's how my very first mandala was created. And my first few pieces, again, was just experimenting with lines
Mhm.
and shapes. And
Mhm.
then I again, now I don't even remember how. And then I found out, oh wait, you can actually draw a grid, and it'll be much easier for you to then create a mandala and add your patterns. And then, like, slowly
Right.
I found the way in which is easiest for me to draw my grid, and then
Mhm.
start creating my pieces. And my journey began, and I have not looked back ever since. I was mesmerized, and I am till date.
Yeah, we truly are also mesmerized.
Thank you. You're very kind.
No, no, really. I really appreciate it. So beautiful work.
Thank
So,
you.
when I mean, when what is in your mind when whenever you start sitting and trying to make some art, any piece of art,
Hmm.
how do you get an idea? I mean, what goes into your mind that okay, let's do this, or I mean, how it happens? I mean, many artists they would be wondering, like,
Hmm.
there are people who want to start. There are, especially girls, they are more interested into art. So,
Yeah.
what goes into your mind? How these
So,
come up?
so usually, it's like it's kind of like when we speak about inspiration or a concept, sometimes it strikes you in the most inopportune moment, or in the most random of times it just hits you. It's happened to me so
Mhm,
many times, like I'm in the shower and I like something, I'm like, oh, why have I not tried that before? Let me try that. Or I'm
mhm,
outside on a stroll and I see something and I'm like, it just hits you. It's like, let me try that. So it's
mhm.
been more random. It's always very hard for me to put it into words, like how exactly I
Yes.
have come up with either a concept, or sometimes it's like
Mhm,
came up with something and then
mhm.
I started
Yeah,
working on it, and then but
yeah.
I changed midway and then it evolved into something completely
Yeah.
different. Having said that, I use different sources of inspiration,
Mhm,
whether it's nature. Some of my pieces are inspired by religion, or Hinduism, of course.
mhm,
So I'm a
mhm.
Hindu, so uh,
Yeah.
I don't practice it as religiously as
Mhm,
I'd used to, but I'm still very
mhm,
spiritual with
mhm,
Hinduism and connected. So
mhm.
sometimes again, that's where it comes from, nature,
Yeah.
just
Mhm,
flowers,
mhm,
or
mhm.
elements of
Yeah.
nature. And there are so many talented artists on Instagram and
Yeah.
TikTok or
Yeah.
Facebook that I come
Yes.
across, and I see something, and
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
completely in awe,
Yeah.
and that becomes a source of inspiration.
Okay.
So there's no one, like I said, no one source, many sources, many,
True.
many, it comes from many, many places.
Yeah, I was just going through your artwork, like you were making like some image, maybe a Buddha image, or
Uh-huh.
and the source. It looked wonderful. So that's why I was asking you this question: how does these things come up in your mind that you put something and it's like that's,
So
but you
if
answered it.
Yeah, if it is like a specific, like for example, like a Buddha,
Mhm,
then of course, like I said, like that stems from religion and something that I
mhm, mhm,
personally feel connected to. But if you're talking about like the specific silhouette or the shape, then
mhm,
I am not very good with figure drawing, and I am like completely out of practice. So that is something that I would use either
mhm,
Pinterest or some
mhm.
other website or some other reference that I may have found on Google.
Okay.
I will
Mhm,
use
mhm.
just the silhouette reference from there.
Okay.
But
Mhm,
yeah, so and then but the concept around it would
mhm,
always be my own original. But if I needed, like for example, I'm not sure if you saw on for Mother's Day yesterday, I had
yes, I saw.
posted. So that one,
Mhm,
that silhouette was something that I had found on a website that I credited
mhm,
in my caption
mhm.
where I found the
Okay.
silhouette. But then the concept of how I wanted to present that
Okay.
silhouette was
Mhm,
my own. So it's like when I
mhm,
see something, then
mhm.
I start visualizing in
Right.
my head like
Mhm,
how
mhm.
I want to represent it.
Right.
And so yeah.
Yeah. So, for starting, I mean, just to give an idea to our viewers, like
Mhm.
what kind of tools for they need, or kind of paper or anything. I mean, and what is your favorite one which you use?
So tools, my favorite ones, I mean the ones that I cannot live without as a mandala artist are a protractor, a compass, a ruler, pencil, pen. That's it. As long as I have that, I am a happy little camper here. And in terms of papers, I have a few different which I love. Bristol definitely is my favorite that I like to use. And then which kind of Bristol board, that depends on the size or the kind of artwork you're trying to create. But make it a point that I always mention the pens and the
Mhm.
paper that I have used in every caption, because I know that's number one question for me from my followers. So I'm like, all right, it's there. Just read it and you will have your answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite part of creating any artwork? What is the most thing which you like?
My favorite would be the calming effect and the therapeutic effect that it has on me. So, me personally, I have always turned to, just creating something, whether it's just a doodle or, just scribbling something on paper, even like like since I have been connected with art. That's always been my go-to anytime I feel any kind of stress or anxiety or sadness. I always turn to, I just need a couple hours. I just sit down and just doodle something, connect with my pen with my paper, and it definitely feels, on the other side, I come out feeling more uplifted. That is definitely my favorite part.
Yeah. So, what is any piece of art which is like your favorite, like you really like it, or something story behind it, that the reason that that's your favorite?
So it's it's hard for me to pick one favorite. I mean, I'm very critical of my artwork. So either I'm like, I don't like it and like I don't care about it as much, or I'm like suddenly super impressed with what I had thought, envisioned, and what I created. But
Mhm.
I do have one piece. I had started it around 2014. One day again, I was just bored in my corporate job, and I was actually, landscapes and trees used to be my
Mhm.
favorite elements to draw. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, let me, just start drawing something and doodling something. So I started something, but then I think like a couple of days into it, I got busy with work and I was not so bored anymore and I abandoned it. But then in 2020, I picked it up again and then I was like,
Mhm.
hey, why don't I finish this? And then I also incorporated a mandala into it because
Mhm.
now that's my new thing,
Yeah.
right? So I created this one and this is my all-time favorite
Oh,
now.
this is
So with
really,
the tree and so this is my
oh,
favorite from like before
wow,
that I used to love, and then this is my new favorite right here. And I decided to put both of them together.
simply
So
mesmerizing.
this
Yeah,
is
it's
my
so
favorite.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, it is. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful work.
Thanks
Yeah,
very much.
no. And when did you started thinking like you should have your own website and you are not just into being into art, now you are
Hmm.
kind of entering into an entrepreneurship also.
Hmm.
So being a self-made woman. So how did it started? When did you thought that I should go ahead and people should take
Hmm.
promote your artwork? How
Right.
did it started and your website? How did you did everything?
So I had actually not thought that my art would evolve into what it has today,
Mm-hmm.
and it would get where it is now. And definitely, I had never thought. I had always had this aspiration or this dream of being an artist because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I had always connected to. But it was like well established in my career. I had never thought of like making a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I just, people at my work actually, when they saw some of the pieces that I had created, a few of them bought it, and I wasn't even selling. They just asked, "Can we buy this from you?" So those were actually my first, I think, three pieces that I had sold, and to coworkers, and I was like, okay, maybe there is something here. And then, but
Yeah.
I still never actively promoted or tried to sell anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I was
Mm-hmm.
just posting on social media. But then I
Mm-hmm.
started, like, people started buying my work through
Mm-hmm.
social media, and I was like, maybe there's
Mm-hmm.
something here,
Yeah.
and perhaps this is something I can monetize, since I like to create these pieces and I'm just creating them and keeping them. So my husband encouraged me to like create a website. I was thinking like maybe Etsy or a third party
Mhm.
seller. But he was like, why don't you just create your own website? It'll also be your portfolio, and you can put
Yeah.
whatever content you want to create on it.
Mhm.
So he works in tech. So of course he
Okay.
is the one
Yeah.
who's like pushing me. He's like, no, no, do it. You should do this. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely more of his pushing me. And he's actually the one who um like helped create my website. So I kind of keep him as the back end person. He's the one who manages all the behind the scenes stuff, and then
Okay.
I am the one who's like, will come up with
Yeah.
the design or the aesthetics of
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
website, but he does all the back end stuff for me. And I will say he's the one who pushed me to start my own
No, that
website, launch it.
yeah. And the website looks beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I was kind of lost in it. I was kind of just scrolling it down, and I was just looking the detail works, and it's very nicely done, you know. And you are the only one who's just managing, or do you get some help? Like there can be other things also, like framework or anything. I'm just asking. I mean,
I am
you're
a
just
one woman show right now.
wow.
Everything I do everything myself. I do not have any help from
Oh,
anybody. The only help I get from my husband is on the weekends when I have to like hound him. I'm like, come on, let's update this on the website now. Let's do this. Or that's the only thing that I have help with. But other than that, everything's like just me.
wow. No, that's just
Yeah.
so wonderful, you know. I didn't even realize that. I mean, you people they
Thank
want
you.
to know. I mean, they are really, and it should be. Art
Hmm.
is something
Sure.
which should be promoted, and there are people who want to get into it, and they
Yeah,
really want to, you know, it's an
definitely.
inspiration that you can really go ahead if you have some talent, be it art or any form of art. They can really,
Definitely, definitely.
yes.
You need to explore. You need to give it you need to give
Hmm.
it a try to see if you can, because there's nothing better than having your hobby or the thing that you enjoy,
Right.
having that as your career. Because in India,
Exactly.
especially in the Indian community, it's very
Hmm.
there is a hobby and there's a
Hmm.
profession,
That's
and
right.
these two don't marry each other most of the
Yes.
time. But
Yes.
I'm happy to see that perception is slowly changing and evolving, and there's even if they're not completely connected, there's at least a bridge between the two, and that's
Yes.
very important because
Yes.
your career spans like decades. So if
Yeah.
you enjoy doing what you're doing,
Yes.
what's better? Like there's nothing
Definitely.
better.
I agree with that. We
Yeah,
should do what we love, and there is
absolutely.
no looking back. We just excel in that. That's true.
100%.
Uh, uh, and my next question is like, what motivates you? There should be a reason, you know, what
Of
motivates you to go ahead and create these beautiful piece of art?
mm, motivation is similar to I'd say inspiration, but definitely when I see the finished artwork, once I've visualized a concept and then I put it down on paper, and then how that finally turns out at the end of the
Mhm.
day, that definitely motivates me. Then like I talked about the calming and the therapeutic effect of mandalas that they have on me. That motivates me. So these are like two primary motivating factors for me. Then lately, in especially during the pandemic, I've been getting such amazing messages, like DMs from my followers saying how like they saw my work and were inspired to do something of their own and start their own creative,
Mhm.
art journey,
Mhm.
or like the how my mandalas helped them, or watching my
Mhm.
videos helped them
Mhm.
during a stressful time or through sadness or um, a stressful situation. And in fact, like some people said, like if they watched my videos and it helped them fall asleep. So
Yes.
being able to like have that kind of an effect on somebody is, I think it's very moving for
Mhm.
me, and it's very heartwarming. Like it validates that what I'm doing has merit. Like even though I'm like
Mhm.
whatever I'm putting out on social media, it's
Mhm.
not just to
Mhm.
be another content creator or
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
another video on the
Mhm.
internet. Someone is actually benefiting from it and, connecting with it.
True.
So that's very deep for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Coming up to our the last question, what
Hmm.
advice you like to give to the new artist and to all the girls, Desi girls, who want to, like you said, in Indian community, it's very hard because
Hmm.
there is a gap that okay, you want to do artwork, that's your hobby, okay, but you have to do something serious.
Right.
So
Correct.
how yes, and so how what kind of advice, you know, kind of inspiration you like to give to all the to everyone actually.
Well, my biggest advice would be follow your dream. I know there's peer pressure, parental pressure from around us, but at the end of the day, this is your life. It's going to be your career that you have to be in every single day for many, many years. Like it's when you're
Mm,
starting out, it's hard to think like for how long it's going to be, but it's a very long time. So it's very important to do something that you love.
right.
So that's definitely follow your dream, see it through. If it fails, then it's one thing.
Mhm,
You can change course, you can find a new dream, but at least you have to give it a try. That I would definitely say that. And being original is important in
mm,
today's saturated world of social media. It's so important to be original in whatever you're doing in any
mhm,
kind of doesn't even
mhm,
need to be something on social media, but just in life, in order to stand out in a crowd and to make your own mark. And you must be original. Try to think outside of the box. So
mhm.
I think that's, I would say those two are very important. And if you want to be an artist, then there's no good time, or there's no bad time to start exploring. Just doodle on the side, even if you're in a different career, you're a student, just whenever you get some time, doodle. And three P's is what I preach: practice, perseverance, and patience. And it will always come in handy no matter what kind of career you are in or life situation you are in. It always changes.
Very true. Thank you so much, Sudhamni, for coming and giving us such a wonderful advice. It was so wonderful talking to you about it.
Thank you so much for having me, Rashmi. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you. Okay, bye
thank
bye.
you.
Bye.